Washington Commanders and the San Francisco 49ers. This is sitting 7 across the board in favor of the 49ers. 37.5 is your total. Adam, we just got word Chase Young's going to make his season debut for the Washington Commanders. We also got word that Ron Rivera is not sold on Taylor Heineke, and that maybe there could be a chance for a Carson Wentz reunion here for the Commanders. So what say you in this one? Again, I know we keep talking about teaser legs. It's like 49ers down to a point. I mean, like, they just got to win the game against this team at home. I mean, that's certainly always on the table, I think, in this scenario.
I went and last week when these when they first opened Sunday, and I was on a different program, and I was screaming to get to San Francisco before it got to 7 because that seemed about as obvious as could be. Now it's in teasable range, down to 1. Very rarely will I bet on a defense, but this is the defense I will bet on, and that San Francisco defense is not only menacing, but as you and I and Steven were discussing on Slack during the Giants game last week, knock, knock, who's there? Turnover-worthy plays there for Taylor Heineke. And it finally started to come home, and it couldn't have happened at a better time for me as a Giants fan than Taylor Heineke finally starting to have to pay the piper a little bit against the New York Giants. And if you have to pay the piper against the Giants, what are the San Francisco 49ers going to do to you on the defensive side? So, yes, San Francisco teaser. The other thing is we're down to 37.5 on this total in a non-weather game. If you are worried about the San Francisco defense against Taylor Heineke, well, part of that could be turnovers, right? And you start introducing turnovers and short fields and the potential for offense. Look, Brock Purdy's been just fine. And the Washington defense is good. It is not great. And we do not expect a full complement of Chase Young in this game. So, you know, the New York Giants were able to run, I'm not going to say effectively, but enough against the Washington Commanders last week. 4.6 yards per play is not something I'm going to tout for the Giants. But we know San Francisco can run the ball. We know that Kyle Shanahan will scheme open some receivers. I wouldn't hate if someone wanted to play over 37.5 either.
Steven, you teased at the top of the show, if people are only watching the single game clips, you teased at the top of the show that you had multiple different teaser legs tied into, and I'm going to guess that this is one of the ones that you have tied into your play from earlier.
Yes, sir. Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers. That's one of the 4 teaser legs I have with Buffalo. You guys laid it out perfectly. I did not hear the Carson Wentz news yet, and I don't care. Fine by me. Bring him in if he wants to. My ears perked up. That makes me like it even better if he's going to play, because few quarterbacks in the NFL deal with pressure and getting to the second read worse than Carson Wentz. So I love this. The other note I'll just say is we have now 3 games with Brock Purdy at quarterback for the 49ers. And man, is it impressive. Last pick in the draft for those that haven't heard that yet. Rookie 7th round pick, literally the last pick. Kyle Shanahan's a wizard. In these 3 games over that stretch, top 5 in expected completion percentage, but Purdy is still also posting a positive completion percentage over expected. So he's doing his part too. 7th in EPA per play among all quarterbacks with at least 50 passes over the past 3 weeks. So I have a Nick Sirianni Coach of the Year ticket. I think it's going to come home. If he beats the Cowboys with Gardner Minshew, it's a lock. You can just wrap it up. But if they stumble here, it appears that there was some sharp interest in Kyle Shanahan to win Coach of the Year still. His number has kind of gone from almost 50-1 down to short of 20-1. And I can understand why that action has come in with what the staff as a whole, both offensively and defensively. You have the elite defense in the league, and you have an offense that has had to play 3 quarterbacks this year and is going to have a top 3 seed in the conference. So that's probably my top candidate if it isn't going to be Nick Sirianni and they stumble a couple times. But granted, we never know what voters are going to do in these markets. So it's, take a guess.